Once upon a time on a Sunday night at 6. Well, every Sunday night from now till Christmas, really. All the children in the country cuddled up in bed to listen to Classic FM's Classic Winter Tales.
Brought to them with PowerGen. Captivating hour-long stories like Aladdin, A Christmas Carol, Robin Hood and the Snowman.
Read by some of the biggest celebrities and littlest.
So, listen to Classic FM for this Sunday's story.
Classic Winter Tales, sponsored by PowerGen. Gas, electricity and telephone.
Hello, I'm Natalie, and this evening we're going to listen to a story about a very ugly person and a very attractive person. But it's not about Jennifer Lopez and Chris Evans. It's about a beauty and a beast. And it's going to be read for us by a very famous pair of people, neither of whom have looks that are anything less than perfection. So let's sit back and listen to Beauty and the Beast, read for us by Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie.
This is the story of Beauty.
And the Beast? And the Beast?
Oh, don't start.
You're not starting.
You are starting. I am, of course, Beauty.
And I am indeed the Beast. Q hails of evil, devilish laughter with rather too much echo.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a very good man, a widower who made his living as a merchant. Every day he would don his flamboyant pinstripe suit, slap his thighs and whiz off to work in the city, each day seeking to make a little more money than the last. Sadly, though, he was on occasion prone to be a little, ill-advised, and eventually, after a run of particularly bad luck on the Pacific Rim, whatever that might be, he ended up flat broke, stony, brassic, not a sou.
Well, actually, that's not entirely true, is it? I mean, let's face it, he's not exactly Eddie George, is he, your father? You're not going to see a signature saying Beauty's dad on the back of a fiver, are you? When it comes to investment, my mattress was offering a better return on your money.
Right. Well, anyhow, as a result, he was forced to give up the high set, the life in the jet lane, and go and live in what had previously been his weekend home in the country, a modest little barn conversion near Godalming.
It's actually very nice.
Do you like it?
Oh, yes. It just wonders with the insides. Where did you get that idea of doing that with the fireplace?
Oh, we just let our imagination run.
Yeah, I love that we knocked through.
We did knock through. It's now, sorry, where was I?
Oh, I thought you'd finished.
Oh, right. Anyway, one day, the goodly merchant...
Your dad?
Okay, my dad. So he's my dad.
Well,
what of it?
I think you should declare an interest, that's all.
All right. He is my father. The goodly merchant, who was indeed my father, decided he would set off to the local market to see if he could make some money, selling models of the London Eye made from bread dough, actually.
Not only what did possess him, but what did he think possessed him?
Well, look, he's very creative.
Clearly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Created the illusion that anyone might want to buy a scaled-down London monument made out of a sandwich.
It's not a sandwich, it's an arts and crafts dough sculpture, if you don't mind. And as it happens, he didn't do so badly, thank you very much. Before he left, he kissed each of his 3 daughters and asked them what they would like him to bring back as a present on his return. One, not me, incidentally, said a diamond-encrusted tiara. All right? The second, also not me, I might add, asked for a necklace of pure gold. But the third, who is not standing a million miles from here at the moment, said she would simply like a white rose and her father home safe.
It's a girly swatty, that, isn't it? Roses are so last year, anyway.
So, after a hard day on the stall, he decided to make his way back home. And on the journey, a huge storm suddenly blew up. The thunder and lightning echoed around him, and his horse began to make little or no headway in the howling wind. He'd given up all hope of finding an inn when suddenly the lightning cracked. The bolt seemed to be no more than a few feet in front of him, in fact, close enough to light up a shabby, splintered wooden sign which read, Beastly Manor.
Yes, look, I've been meaning to do something about that sign. I've never really got round to it. Maybe a bit of stenciling might brighten the whole thing up.
Maybe, or rag rolling. That's a lovely effect.
Yes, I hadn't thought of it. There's the thing I did, who's that poisonous woman who appears every morning at about 11 o'clock? Clever thing. Anyway,
The merchant approached the manor. He was cold and wet and desperate for shelter. He would even have considered a travel lodge. He was about to knock at the door when he noticed it was open, so he walked in. The manor house was splendidly decorated with gilt and crystal, velvets and silks. He walked into the huge dining room. There, set at the top seat of an enormous dining table, was a sumptuous meal for one.
Yes, though not, a sort of knobby no-mate supermarket meal for one, I would hasten to add.
Oh, no. Oh, no, not at all.
No, yes, you mean a grand, five-course, silver service, solo banquet.
Well,
I
yes.
think I should take over for a while, if you don't mind. This is, I hear, my manner. You are chez la bête. I have to sell at some point,
As you will.
Right, so what actually happened was that I spied your man coming down the drive. Now, I didn't have any clothes on at the time, and I can't do a thing with my body hair, so I kept in the background a bit. Well, he looked rather tired, so I laid him out some food. Veritable feast it was, even though I say so myself. Individual trifles, all the trimmings. After his dinner, he retired upstairs, where I'd set aside a room for him. And I think he slept like a dog.
Yeah, can sleep anywhere, my father. Goes off just like that.
Next morning, he found the fresh clothes that I'd put out for him. I even had to run a stitch over some of them, take them in a little.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Well, I'm quite broad in the shoulder, you see, and he's what, 5'7"?
5'6".
5'6", well, there you are. You see, they would have been like tents if I hadn't. Anyway, he then enjoyed the breakfast I prepared for him before going on his way. All in all, I'd say it wasn't a bad deal, considering he'd paid the princely sum of zilch pounds, niente pence.
Very reasonable.
Yes. Well, now, the thing is, I'm watching from the window to see him out the drive. Even thought I might wave, when I noticed he'd made a detour to the back garden. So I beetled down there, hid among the bushes, and guess what happens?
I know.
Yeah, but go on, guess anyway.
No, I know. I know what happens.
He only goes and tries to nick one of my best roses, after all I had done for him. Fed him, sheltered him, given him the shirt off my hairy back, everything, taking in his, with the little nips and tucks from my work basket, and he goes and tries to steal my prize-winning blooms.
Well, I'm sorry. See, I might have had something to do with that. Anyway, the beast caught Dad by the arm just as he was about to clip a gorgeous white rose, and he says, "How dare you steal my roses? For this you must die!"
I said that.
Well, he says you did.
Well, he's exaggerating, isn't he? I might have snarled a bit. I don't know. That's all.
No, he the way he put it was, you threw a lovey fit.
I did not.
Toys out of the pram, screaming abjabs, a complete Queenie windmill.
Now he's making that up.
Well,
I just told him in a calm, clear, level, even voice that he had a choice. He could either bring me back the first living creature to greet him on his return home, or he could die a rather vile yet imaginative death.
Nice.
Well, I would have put a lot of work into it. Anyway, I gather he went home and I believe you were the first living thing to greet him.
That's right.
Where were your two sisters? What were they called again?
Moose and Minger. They were out as usual, getting their beards highlighted.
Moose and Minger. Forgive me, I'm not taking sides here, Beauty, but I do think there's a lot in a name, you know. You don't think you could accuse your father of favoritism, do you?
None at all.
Now it's time to go back and join Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie as they read us the second part of Beauty and the Beast on Classic FM.
So, there was only one thing for me to do.
I'm glad you saw it that way.
I immediately packed just a few simple essential items, and before you could say, me,
i.e. 48 hours later.
I had a lot to think about. I presented myself on the doorstep of Neanderthal Towers.
Yes, thank you. I'll tell it from here if you don't mind. Well, officer, when La Pulchritude arrived, I ushered her into the drawing room, where there was a warm fire burning, and if I
There
remember
was a
rightly-
glass of sherry, wasn't
yes,
there? Yeah.
sherry. How good of you to remember. So we sat and talked for a bit, and you were permanently looking at the floor, I seem to remember. You little shy thing, weren't you, then?
Nonsense. I just couldn't stand the sight of you.
Oh.
Sorry, but back in those days, you weren't exactly eye candy, were you?
I suppose I did need to lose a little weight, I suppose. Anyway, after a while, I think it's fair to say she warmed to me, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, actually.
And you had that, all those pet names for me. What was that when you had that special pet name?
Animal.
That's it, animal. Anyway, we were getting on so well, I decided to pop the question. I arranged dinner on the lawn one day and said, "Will you be my wife, to feed and to tame in savagery and in strife, forsaking all ogres?"
And I said no.
She did, yes. Which was perfectly understandable, I suppose. I mean, I can't read or write. I can't drink a glass of wine without biting through the wine glass.
Yeah.
Yes. And I suppose standing on a chair with my bottom in the air in Betty's tea room is somewhat hard to explain.
I can never go back there. That tablecloth was ruined.
So we stayed just friends. then I gave you that wonderful mirror.
Oh, yes, the mirror. Yes, I was sitting in my room one day when I heard old Monster Breath coming up the stairs. That's what I used to call him. He presents me with the most beautiful mirror I'd ever seen. So ornate.
It was ornate.
It was, with a burnished gilt frame. The only thing wrong with it is that, I couldn't see me in it.
Yes, well, you see, it wasn't that sort of a mirror.
Well, what use is a mirror if it doesn't show you a reflection? I mean, I ask you, it's like saying, here's a fridge. Oh, by the way, it doesn't keep anything cold. Sorry.
Yeah, well, no, it was a magic mirror. When I gave Beauty the mirror, I told her it was a special gift. She could put it in the corner of her room, and whenever the fancy took her, she could approach the mirror, and it would show her images from exotic, faraway lands.
I'd have preferred Sky Digital.
I'm not having a mini-dish in my house.
One evening, I was channel hopping on the mirror. I've got to say, without the mirror, I could never have known about Father.
Yeah.
All the movie channels were showing Escape to Witch Mountain. When I came across the Dad channel, slogan, all dad, all day. And I saw my dad, and he was looking awful. He was thin, pallid, run down, and speaking all manner of gibberish.
At the time, you thought it was Victoria Beckham, didn't you?
I did, actually, yes. Yes.
I, of course, immediately said that Beauty should go home and look after her ailing father. I packed...
Oh, that's not actually 100% accurate, is it?
Isn't it? What?
No. What you actually said was, and I quote, "Not while I've got knuckles to scrape the ground with, over my dead Hulk."
I said that?
You said, "Can't Monger and Mouse look after him?"
Did I? I don't remember that. Well, I must have relented, though, because you went, didn't you?
You did, and I did, yes. Don't you remember, I just made you your favourite hedgehog thermidor, and you said, why didn't I go off and see the old man?
That's right, and I said, as long as you promise to return within 7 days. But, children, she didn't return within 7 days. When Beauty got home, she discovered that her dad was indeed very ill. He had felt the loss of his beloved Beauty so much that he had been struck down with a broken heart. Probably just a touch of indigestion, if you ask me.
He was gravely ill.
Oh, Homo sapiens, one twinge to think I've got angina. Give me a pongo any day. Splendid genus, the pongo.
Can we get back to the point? Thank you. So, I stay with Dad and gradually manage to nurse him back to health. Of course, it's a long process. Things take time. The dome wasn't built in a day, as Sir Richard would say.
I did make it pretty clear, I think, that I wanted you to return within 7, not 8, not 9, not 14, not 28, 7 days.
Look, I'm not a library book, all right? If my father was ill, my father was ill. Minger and Moose were too busy practicing for the Gurning Championships to spare the time, so I had to tend to him every day, morning, noon and night. Brought him soup, administered his medicines, applied his poultices.
Wiped his bottom.
Oh, you've never got on with my family, have you?
Well, come on, they're not exactly your average nuclear unit, are they?
I'll have you know, my father read me a bedtime story every day of my life.
Oh, all right, okay, I take it back. Obviously a good chap.
Right.
But, as a result of his illness, Beauty went well over her 7 days. In fact, she went over by, let's see, 3 years and 5 months.
I was washing my hair.
But one night, I sent you a dream. Beauty was lying in her bed, fast asleep, when I summoned up all my magical powers and dreamt you a dream.
It's true. I woke up one morning and I remembered this amazingly vivid dream. I dreamt I opened the doors of Beastly Manor, swept up the stairs.
My stairs are spotless, if you don't mind. They don't mean... I see.
No,
Sorry.
swept
Yes,
up,
I've got
see,
you.
swept up the stairs.
Yeah, gotcha.
And found you in your bedroom, frail, alone, and dying.
quick as a flash, Beauty ran from her father's house, shouting that she had to go and save the beast. It's so romantic.
I got to the house, and there he was. My fantastic fiend, my brave brute, my muscle-bound monster.
Oh, you guys, get on with you. I remember the moment like it was yesterday. You raced up to me, you stopped right in front of me, your face about an inch from mine. I could feel your breath on my lips.
And I could feel yours.
You said, "Oh, animal, I'm sorry that I've been so...
And you said, beastly?
I did.
And then we kissed.
And that was when it happened.
You started to change before my very eyes.
My face started to contort. My hands seemed to stretch. Like that bit in An American Werewolf in London, just like that.
Yeah, and then, as if by magic, you had changed into
a handsome prince.
A handsome prince.
We were married not long after that.
Moose and Minga were bridesmaids. They looked...
Gopping, actually.
Yeah.
I've seen better-looking goats.
Oh, beastie, stop it.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, and that's really it. We bought a little place not far from old hypochondriac man.
Yeah, you never really got over my father, have you?
No, that's not fair. I've given him chances. I just don't think he likes me.
He needs to get used to you, that's all. It's not just give it time.
Yeah, just, we trust me.
Well, I don't know. Who would have thought it? Don't you think it's the most unlikely couple since what? David Copperfield and Claudia Schiffer. Next week, why don't you join us next week? It's Alexei Sayle telling us the story of Aladdin. But right now, I can see him sliding into the studio, still with tears in his eyes, from Beauty and the Beast. Here comes John Brunning with Smooth Classics at 7.
It was Sunday night at 6 in the house, and nothing stirred, not even a mouse. Well, they were all cuddled on the edge of the bed, waiting for winter tales to be read.
Classic FM's Classic Winter Tales. Captivating hour-long stories brought to you with PowerGen. Stories like Beauty and the Beast, The Water Babies, A Christmas Carol, The Snowman.
And Tom Thumb, read by yours truly. I wonder why, never mind. They're all exciting.
So, listen to Classic FM for this Sunday's story.
Classic Winter Tales, sponsored by PowerGen, gas, electricity and telephone.